All right, we're coming back and hopping directly into the game. It's a brand new best of 3. It is fresh and brand new here for the TING Open Qualifiers. Again, shout out to TING, guys. Make sure you hit up bttv.ting.com to get $25 in credit if you decide to sign up with them, or just check out their store. In the bottom left side, though, to kick off this game, he's on a bit of a tear. We've watched him take 2 victories now. It's going to be the blue Terran player, Root Gaming's Kelazhur.
In the top right, as the red Zerg, it is viOLet.
viOLet seemed surprisingly stoked to play this.
Really?
I mean, just in the lobby, some of the things he was saying beforehand, like, he just, I don't know if it's this matchup or if he's just feeling good today, but he's ready for some StarCraft, Zombie Girl.
I guess he's, I feel like viOLet is in a constant state of trying to prove himself since being one of the best Zergs in, like, way back in 2012/13, and then having basically everything that could be, like, unlucky and bad happen to him, like, one after the other.
And stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
but he's overcome a lot of adversity through that too, though.
Well, he was the first StarCraft 2 player to get the player visa, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been really cool, but it's also been this like huge ordeal for him, and it feels like even though he's now been practicing for like over a year now, right? Like he's been back in StarCraft 2. It just never felt like he's really gotten to the point where it's always viOLet and Pult, you know, Pult and viOLet. Hydra has actually kind of taken his spot. So I always imagine whenever I see viOLet that he's trying to get back to being the #1 Korean in America Zerg. I know it's very specific, but deal with it.
So I actually 100% understand what you mean by that. Like, viOLet, we've met him a couple times at events. He is a super nice guy, but yeah, it's like he's always got that chip on his shoulder. Like he's got something he has to prove. Like remind everybody just how good he was. It's unfortunate that thing with him and Pult never came to light. I think that would have actually shined a lot of popularity on him as well. The
training camp.
Yeah, CSN training camp.
Yes, that one.
So they call it CSL, but wait, that's college.
Yeah. Now Kelazhur is going for a 2-racked Reaper opener, but obviously with the command center not so dedicated. The Roche Warren's coming down very early from viOLet, who does not know about this build, but is just coincidentally getting the Roaches, either because it is Orbital Shipyard or because he was going to do something with the Roaches to begin with.
And I have a small thing I need to update here. The weather outside has picked up quite a bit. I don't think it's quite power outage levels, but the wind is looking strong. So, luckily for you guys, Zombie Grub has set up the stream as a backup already. If anything disappears abruptly, you'll understand why. Although I bought that power battery thing that one of our subs, the Rura cards, recommended. So I'm hoping that if power does go out, I'll get that extra 5 minutes to finish up the match before everything dies.
Yeah, way to go. Oh, double command center behind the Reaper opener. I mean, this is a smart move. The Reapers, they're almost guaranteed to live if you don't mess up, basically. So it's a lot on you, you know? But especially if speedlings aren't out. Now, they didn't expect the Roaches, so one does die, but if speedlings aren't out, then Roaches should be slow enough that you just run away from them, but you run away while throwing grenades, and once again, Kelazhur messes up and loses a second Reaper. Stop it, Kelazhur.
I mean, the Reapers aren't going to stop this push. They would buy a little bit of time, and the grenades would do a bit of damage. But yeah, the idea is that if they're ignored like this too, they can go behind enemy lines, maybe get some kills. After all, viOLet is droning now. I think he's assuming what he has is appropriate enough to get some real damage done.
Yeah. But it's not bad if this was purely because it was Orbital Shipyard to go for such early Roaches, but it was, I guess... It would have been a little unnecessary, but actually Kelazhur is taking it seriously and going for like a bunker and a Marauder that he really doesn't need. 2 Marauders, in fact. Maybe not need is too strong of a word.
This hatchery is actually going to die if he doesn't cancel it. There you go. Having a bit of a StarCraft 2 shower thoughts moment here. I just realized there's no animation for getting into the bunker. How weird would that look if there was?
Oh, like the opening?
Yeah, or like them climbing in or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. I guess it would look a little weird. But without the Reapers constantly denying or slowing down the push, viOLet's push to get to the front. The 2 Marauders in the bunker ended up being pretty perfect, so actually a really nice defense from Kelazhur, and now he doesn't have to really worry about it.
The thing with the Marauders in this instance, too, is it's not about them... They don't deal bonus damage to Ravagers. Oh, they're actually going to catch that with that concussive shell. Nice. And it's not about
Nice.
dealing the bonus oh, or not?
Okay.
And it's not about dealing the bonus damage to the roaches either. It's the fact that they had the range in the bunker to actually reach them. Otherwise, the Ravagers could have sat back and done that stupid corrosive bile spam for a very long time.
Yeah. Reapers go into that bunker, Marines go into that bunker. Yeah, you'll probably hold, but the Marauders, with the Marauders slow too, really solidified it. Now again, it was like, they both had to do things to defend against, aggression that I guess, in an ideal world they wouldn't have had to do. But Kelazhur has 3 CCs now, the engineering bay on the back of this, and I don't see viOLet punishing him for that soon. So I kind of like Kelazhur's position.
Yeah, the Reaper's got some nice kills behind that too. Okay, so I wanna just address something in chat here. People are talking about I know it's just a total troll. I'm not getting troll baited into this. This is actually more as an excuse for information. Some people are complaining that TING is a huge company that can only put up $5,000 for a tournament. Oh my god, how cheap! But actually, the nice thing about TING, and this was something we talked about with them, if this first tournament goes well, they want to make this a regular, reoccurring thing. Like, imagine a world where we have a $5,000 tournament every 2 to 3 months with TING guys. That's, I think, what everyone's end goal would be. Them to get the advertisement they want for their company, and for us to have this large of a tournament, this caliber of a prize pool that we could constantly give out. So the best way to ensure that that happens is to make sure you guys tune into every broadcast that you can, and if you are in the United States, even if you don't plan to swap to TING, check out the website and make sure again to use btdv.ting.com to let them know that you came from us and let them know that this money that they're putting in the tournament is well spent.
And while we're kind of schooling the chat, I know someone just said that it seems too good to be true. And I mean, it's very possible that I certainly have never heard of a plan like this until I saw Ting in the first Total Biscuit tournament.
Yeah.
I always figured that America was kind of doomed to what you usually know as a contract. And they're very upfront about what they cannot do for some people. Like, they're not super unlimited, and some people do, need that. So, I don't know, this isn't free candy in a van, guys. Like, this actually is legitimate, strategy that works. So,
yeah.
Calm down.
Anyways, the Marauders and the Marines are pushing out, and looks like the actual army count for viOLet, it's not looking too bad. Roach Ravager, a very common strategy to go for nowadays. This 1-1's going to finish up here in time with Kelazhur's, but it's the fact that we see so often. Roach Ravager is great in this one big bushel of an attack, this bunch of units, but when they've got to split to defend drops, that's where you start seeing the power start kind of fading off. Drops into a Spore Crawler, though. Ooh, that's going to be a little bit nasty. That poor Marine.
The Roach is a little bit choked in. Like, he's not taking a bad fight. His upgrades had finished while this drop commenced, too. Combat shield's not yet done. That kind of sucks. Gonna go for the Queen as the last little snipe there. Picks up at least 1 medevac worth of units and gets out.
Not bad, but now he's got to defend as well. There's a tank here. There's a lot of Marauders and Marines with Sim, but the tank is shuffled back. God, when they nerf this, I have no idea how they're going to change the tank to make it good, because this is so ridiculous. You need to be able to maneuver the tank like this against attacks like this. Corrosive Bile is going to be able to start raining on the tank above if they get high ground vision. Luckily, there's no Overlords nearby, but Kelazhur's still taking some SCV losses. 9 go down in total. And kind of just like the drop from earlier, he's able to walk away, viOLet, with some of these units if he'd so choose.
Yeah, he's, I don't know about rallying into here with that tank on the high ground and the other tank surviving. Production has only just started at Kelazhur, but it is starting to get ramped up. 5 racks production, couple more tanks on the way too. Yeah, viOLet does have to retreat for now. Of course, he'll still have a follow-up, 2-2 when that finishes will look pretty strong. I don't know if his plan is to go into Hydralisk or not. Lurkers really aren't the follow-up. It's usually some attempt at going into Aspire and then trying to get to Hive. But viOLet was one of the players back in the day that would not only do it because it worked on a map, but was overjoyed to do Roach Hydra. That was actually his thing for a while. So it'd be cool if he brought it back in Legacy of the Void when no one else really is, not against Terran.
I mean, Roach Hydra is really questionable because it's not that Hydras are bad, it's just there's so many better options.
Yeah,
so many better combinations. The Infestor, of course, comes to mind immediately, but drop is flown away. We're actually going to have viOLet go for his own drops. Kind of cute to see here on the right side. It's a lot of Roaches. A lot of people have been experimenting with Overlord drops. Sulky being almost the #1. However, this will get caught by the drops by the looks of it.
That is a nice catch. I mean, it's possible they were accidentally rallied, but
no, definitely
they're
not.
Free no matter what.
Not to mention, you actually see the physical, there's a graphic change on the Overlords that carry things as well. We saw that those two are obviously not going to be carrying Overlords. So, very unfortunate for viOLet. Loses two Overlords, but also the 8 Roaches inside them.
So once you get the rest of the overlords, I mean, regardless if you like knew there was a bunch of units in them, there were lings, banelings, or roaches, or what have you, like it's just if overlords coming your way, it's 200 minerals, 400 minerals easily gotten. But we'll miss this other overlord. Of course, for speed, viOLet has a lot of mobility, and we'll want these to at least alert him, even if they do die. That still sucks. Scan goes down in the main because you do want to see if they're going for that high. You want to know if you got to prepare for Ultralisk primarily.
I think that's the number one thing a lot of Terran players are looking for right now. Like that timing of knowing, okay, I gotta get ghosts or get a kill move before they have ultras. Stemming up here is not going to work too well, but he can still get away. There's not a lot of reliable anti-air. The infestation pit only just begins. Oh, it runs into more units. That's not how you want. That's not how you want to retreat. This drop's not going to be doing too poorly. However, constantly just mulling away at like 2 or 3 drones here and there, picking off some roaches in decent engagements. This isn't actually, it's not getting Kelazhur ahead. His supply's still falling behind, but those upgrades are going to be hitting 3-3 soon. This base actually forced to lift.
I feel like viOLet is stuck on this composition, which, you know, usually wants to be supplemented by infestors or on the way to hive and more defensive. So, yeah, Kelazhur's not exactly getting, you know, ahead, especially in the numbers, but in terms of, like, the game pace, I like Kelazhur's later game a lot more. Now, it really sucks he doesn't start +2 weapons. That is a mistake, but... You know, 4th place base is a planetary. He's got so many tanks. It's a really good army, and you can even start going away from tanks as his upgrades finish. That viOLet being the aggressive one is a little scary.
Well, corrosive battle's coming down. They're going to hit some of the tanks, so not too bad. The attack on the 3rd base does go on while this is happening. Roaches managed to sneak through and get to that worker line, so while these Ravagers are probably likely doomed to the bio, that nice stim right up getting in their face. He still loses a lot over here. 8 SCVs starting to lose the depots. Roach is getting on top of production soon. That's always the worst when you start losing your reactors and your tech labs. The tank to snipe you at the top of the ramp as well.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they kind of trade out here. viOLet's still a little bit up in that army supply, but
I like the split
Kelazhur not doing so badly. He's now using his tanks. I mean, that fight on the 4th would have gone so much better had the tanks been more actively involved. But Kelazhur saw an opportunity, and of course he was so distracted doing 3 things at once, actually, that the tanks didn't really do as much as they could have. It finally starts that +3 weapons. That's really going to accelerate bio against Roach Ravager. Yeah. And has used up his bank.
I like this, though, that we're at this point of the game where both players actually have so much on the field that taking losses like this is kind of acceptable. If this had been, say, 10 minutes ago, you know, or sorry, 10 minutes ago, 2 minutes in the game. This has been a few minutes ago, and you only have 3 bases, not a 4th on each, and no one's got those extra drones. This is actually devastating damage. But as we see from the income, it's actually not too differential, despite the fact that there's been all these attacks. Plus, Mule's dropping like, no, it's going to help Kelazhur. Spike up that income.
This is where those tanks are really going to play a part. He actually misses the tanks. He's trying to hit the medevacs, I guess. Now actually hits the bio.
I think
tanks are still alive. Yeah,
even then, with the bio starting to go down, the roaches are going to get the dead zone of these tanks. It's really hard to drop when there's units chasing directly under them. But looks like that reinforcement of bio and that one tank is actually going to be just enough to completely wipe this army. viOLet still has a fairly decent amount of income, but not a lot of banked. So attacks like this are starting to get really dangerous for him, because he's going to hit that point where he's going to be down half the army supply, and there won't be reinforcements coming.
Yeah, this is, I mean, that's what happens with Roach Ravager. Even Roach Ravager and Fester, like, it really starts to fall off, especially as the upgrades get better for the bio. I mean, with 3-3 upgrades, Kelazhur actually doesn't really need to depend on his tanks so much anymore. Like, they're obviously helpful, but his bio, his mass bio, could actually start winning out. And viOLet has just fallen into a trap, I suppose, that a lot of Zergs fall into, and I mean, it's not that he doesn't know that you have to transfer out, it's that he thought he had an opportunity to end the game.
Well, I mean, this composition can't win, but he's missing one important element. He went for the infestation pit, but no infestors. No fungal growth, no infestors in general. It's just Roach Ravager, and he's going for Roach Burrow and Tunneling Claws instead. This is something where, if this was 8 minutes into the game, 10 minutes into the game, I think this is a totally great move. But you're right, this is that time where you need to transition. Your opponent's getting a 3-3. How are you going to play this game out with Tier 2 tech?
As best as you can manage. I mean, viOLet also knows the way that this flow goes, you know? Like, okay, did the Roach Ravager attack? It had about 2 good ones into it, maybe 3, and it has not worked. So I'm a little screwed. Like, what can I do to bring this back? And sure, he could have tried to go for fungals, and he could have tried to go for the burrow. Oh, almost gets that tank.
That flank's not too bad, but unfortunately the bottom side gets cleaned up, which means the power from the north side is lost. viOLet's going to lose everything he's got left. This is that point we described moments ago. GG. Game number 1 going to go to Kelazhur.
Yeah, very nicely done by him.
Kelazhur playing so much better today than we've seen him play in a long time. I just want to throw that out there. Like I'm actually quite pleased with how he's doing.
Yeah.
Looks like